A televangelist couple who built a media empire spanning South Africa, the United States, the United Kingdom, and beyond, are now headed for a divorce that could unravel decades of ministry and millions of dollars in shared assets. Andre and Jenny Roebert, founders of Faith Broadcasting Network, Faith TV, and Faith Life Naples, have quietly stepped back from on-air ministry while a divorce petition works its way through a Florida courtroom. 13 businesses and nonprofits are named in that filing. A 6-bedroom oceanfront mansion is on the line, and Jenny Roebert says she and her children have been severely wronged. This is the story Faith Broadcasting doesn't want you connecting the dots on. So let's connect them. On July 17th, Jenny Roebert posted a video statement to social media. I'm going to play that for you in full, but here's the essence of it. She says that over the past 18 months, she and her children have been severely wronged. She's careful to add that she and her family have forgiven, both individually and as a family, but she says the consequences of whatever happened have led her, on biblical grounds, to file for divorce.
My dear Faith Global family, I am so grateful for this opportunity to share my heart with you. Now, I was originally not going to make a public statement, but since my husband is making one, the board has advised me to make one too. Over the past 2 years, more specifically 18 months, my children and I have been severely wronged. Now, it's important for you to know that we have forgiven as a family and individually. The consequences of what has transpired have brought me to the point where, on the basis of biblical grounds, I have taken steps to file for divorce. Now, please know that this, I know, must come as a great shock to many of you. And it deeply saddens me to even have to say these words. But it is important for you to know that the Lord has moved my children and me to a place of forging forward and continuing on with His plan for our lives. I want you to know that I have always, without fail, considered every opportunity given to minister to our Faith Global family, being you, as an absolute honor and a privilege. I have been extremely careful to only represent Jesus through His anointing to speak truth and life. And I will continue to do this as I am doing right now. The Lord has already opened doors for me and my children to step into His wonderful plan for our lives. We will continue to be used of Him without any delay and minister in His grace wherever He leads us. He has been so faithful and has literally showered us with His goodness and blessing. Any day now, we welcome Eric and Faith's second precious child into this world. And in November, we will celebrate Jordan and Brooklyn's beautiful blessing of a baby too. How wonderful is the Lord. How magnificent is His goodness to us. Now, I want to take this opportunity to sincerely thank you for your faithful prayers and your support that has been so generous over the years. Know that you have invested into His kingdom for the revelation of His glory in your personal lives, as well as over the nations that this ministry has had the privilege and mandate to reach. I will always love you. I will always serve the Lord with a whole heart, and I will enjoy the gift of seeing my children flourish and embrace my precious grandchildren, which is my heritage in the Lord. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. I send this to you with all my love and gratitude.
Notice what she did not say. She did not specify what the wrong was. She did not name a person, an event, or an incident. What she did do is announce her resignation, with a heavy heart, from every board connected to Faith TV and to her church. That's not a small detail. That's a woman removing herself entirely from the institutional structure her family built. Here's what we know from the court record. The divorce petition was filed June 30th in Collier County, Florida. It states the couple separated on May 20th, and it uses the standard legal language. The marriage is irretrievably broken, and no amount of time or counseling will restore it. The petition itself doesn't spell out why, but it does spell out what's at stake, and that's where this story gets interesting. 13. Business and nonprofit entities are named as parties in this case. Several appear tied to rental properties the couple owns. The petition alleges these entities provided funds for the parties' living expenses and says the funds were commingled, meaning personal and business money weren't kept separate. That's a claim that, if proven, has real legal weight in a divorce and asset division case. The petition goes further. It alleges that Andre Roebert controls and directs these entities as if they were his own, essentially, as his alter ego. And for each entity listed, Jenny Roebert's filing states she fears he will waste, transfer, dissipate, encumber, or otherwise spend or dispose of the assets unless the court steps in and restrains him. That is not boilerplate divorce language. That's a spouse formally asking a judge to stop the other spouse from moving money. Among the 13 entities are 4 nonprofits: Andre Roebert Ministries, Faith Global, Faith TV USA, and Marco Island Executive Suites. Public tax filings, the 990 forms, show that in 2024, Andre Roebert drew $312,000 in compensation from Andre Roebert Ministries. Jenny Roebert drew $36,000. Faith Global and Faith TV USA's filings don't list compensation for either of them, and no public 990 could be found for Marco Island Executive Suites. That pay gap alone won't settle anything in court, but it's a data point worth sitting with, especially given the alter ego allegation. Then there's the real estate. The couple's oceanfront home on Marco Island, nearly 4,900 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, built in 2021 with a pool and private dock, is listed at $6.45 million. The petition seeks a private sale of that property, not an auction, not a public listing process. A private sale, which typically gives more control over timing and terms, and more room for disagreement about value. 6 days before Jenny's video, on July 13th, Faith Broadcasting Network put out its own statement, attributed to its independent international boards, addressed to television partners and viewers around the world. Over recent weeks, many of you may have become aware that our founders and their family are walking through a deeply challenging personal season. In the interest of transparency, the various international boards wish to address our television partners and viewers around the world. After prayerful consultation with the founders, it was requested that they take a sabbatical from on-air ministry responsibilities. They are currently facing significant marital challenges and are separated. We ask that you join us in praying for God's grace in their lives while respecting the family's privacy during this season. The various boards remain committed to providing pastoral care, accountability, and wise oversight throughout this process. We also want to assure our partners that the ministry and television channels continue to operate under established governance structures, with the international boards working together to ensure stability, faithful stewardship, and the continued fulfillment of the ministry's mission. Thank you for your faithful prayers, partnership, and support. A few things stand out here. First, the language. After prayerful consultation with the founders, it was requested that they take a sabbatical. That's a request, not a removal. Worth watching whether that framing holds. Second, the statement confirms what the court filing already told us. They are currently facing significant marital challenges and are separated. And third, who exactly are these independent international boards? Faith Broadcasting hasn't clarified that publicly, and it's a fair question for a network built almost entirely around one couple's ministry. Andre Roebert, for his part, has not responded to press inquiries, and no public statement from him has surfaced as of this recording. To understand how far this empire reaches, you need the backstory. Andre and Jenny met at Hatfield Christian Church in Pretoria, a congregation founded by Andre's own uncle, Ed Roebert. They married in 1992 and started out as youth pastors in the Eastern Cape. By 1996, they'd founded Revival South Africa, modeled on the ministry of evangelist Rodney Howard Brown, with a stated mission of spreading revival to small towns across southern Africa. During that period, the The couple has said they were heavily shaped by Kenneth Copeland Ministries, the broadcasts, the magazines, which tells you something about the theological and financial DNA this ministry grew out of. In 1998, they planted the River Church in East London, South Africa, and eventually bought a 600,000-square-foot former Farmers Cooperative Union building to serve as their headquarters. By 2016, the River Group had grown to more than 47 companies and ministries. In 2021, in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, they launched Faith Church Naples in Southwest Florida. That congregation merged in 2024 with Faith Life Worship Center and now operates as Faith Life Naples. As recently as October 2025, just months ago, the couple publicly celebrated 34 years of marriage and ministry, writing that God had been faithful. That post is still sitting on their page while this divorce plays out. I want to be careful here, because this is where a lot of channels get sloppy. Jenny Roebert has not said what the wrong was. There is no confirmed allegation of infidelity, of financial misconduct beyond what's alleged in the civil filing, or of anything else. What we have on the record is a divorce petition alleging commingled funds and control as alter ego across 13 entities, a request to restrain asset transfers, a resignation from every board Jenny Roebert sat on, a network statement confirming separation, and a ministry sabbatical, and 34 years of public ministry now unraveling in a Florida courtroom. That's the documented record. Everything else, motive, blame, what exactly happened in those 18 months Jenny referenced, is speculation until it surfaces in filings or statements. We're not going to manufacture a scandal narrative Faith Broadcasting hasn't confirmed. We're going to keep watching the court record, because in cases like this, the paper trail usually says more than the press release does. If there are further filings, further statements, or a sheriff's or regulatory angle down the line, we'll bring it to you the moment it's documented. This is a developing story, and we'll keep tracking the court filings as they're made public. If you want to stay ahead of this and every other accountability story we cover, make sure you're subscribed and you've got notifications on, because these stories move fast, and we move with them. Until next time, stay discerning, stay prayerful, and stay informed. This has been Anointed TV.